Hello, hello Aries. Welcome to your June 2018 overview reading. This is good for you if you are a sun, moon, or rising Aries. So this spread takes a while to lay out, so I pulled it first just to save a little bit of time for the intro. I hope you guys don't mind. And this spread is really exciting because it is modeling the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm super excited to share this with all of you. And then I also have a timeline and some oracle cards for you today. Also, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to everyone who works with me, even if you get single question readings or if you work with me weekly. You guys are what make this channel possible. So I thank you so much. And all of the plugs to work with me are in the description box below. Okay, if you are interested in that. So let's see what's coming up for you this month. First, I'm going to start with an affirmation card. We have story of my life. As I tell myself the story of what's happening in my life, I choose to make it the kind of story where even though parts have a sort of inner beauty, it's ultimately a happy story where every character, no matter how wicked, is doing their best. And let me tell you, it'll be worth it when I earn that Pulitzer Prize for Best Inner Monologue. Okay, so this is about what is going on internally. What is the story that you're telling yourself? What are you really expressing? Because remember that what you tell yourself, your body and spirit are going to believe. Because even your higher self can kind of buy into certain things, or your spiritual body, your astral body, so to speak. So we'll get into more of that, but it's just like, you can feel energetic blocks as well, if you're not careful, and if you have a lot of rough self-talk, so to speak. And then the truth bomb, relationships are everything. So I know that I already hear the moans and groans. This doesn't mean like, oh, if you're not in partnership, then shame on you. It's not like that. It's just saying that connections are everything. Like the relationships with family, friends, the people that you care about, like those really are the memories that you're going to take with you throughout this lifetime. So in that respect, they are everything, but that's of course subjective. So I hope that resonates on some level, but just take time for relationships this month. Okay, and then I also am going to pull an animal spirit card for you. I used these for last month's readings. Okay. Shark. Go for it. How a shark can smell blood in water, like even if it's miles and miles away. That's kind of how you want to look at your goals. It looks like you have a lot of energy that is going to be coming through a lot this month. So use that momentum to your benefit. Really focus in on what you want and need this month and just go for it. Okay, so the way that normally this bottom layer would be two separate layers, but I'm kind of lumping them together. So this is going to be your safety, your primal needs. So think about like food, water, shelter, money, resources, all of that stuff, home, all of that is going to be sitting here. Normally those would be split up a little bit. Okay, so that's what we're going to get started with for Aries. We have the Tower, major transformation coming through when it comes to either the way you get resources. So this is a good indicator for a job change, a move, any type of motion that you've been lagging on. It's kind of like, something is going to light a fire under your ass. So it's kind of like whether you like it or not, it's kind of going to give you that additional push to adapt and change and evolve and grow. Like those are all things that you're going to be really pushed to do. And I'm going to be the first to say, people don't like the Tower, or it kind of gets a bad rap because it's uncomfortable. Like that's the part that we don't like about growth. So don't fear this. It's more about, understand that this is pushing you in a higher direction. And so you can either work with it or you can fight it. Okay, then we have the Sun. So see, you are being pushed into something greater. It's just that if you've been slacking off, or if you've been ignoring those nudges, you know, you're going to experience more resistance with this. I would say that if you're going with the flow, the Sun is showing you like there's even more abundance than you imagined possible if you just look for it. You have to do the legwork. Okay, and then we have the Hanged Man. Look at your habits. This is showing what are you doing on the day-to-day to make a difference, and what are you doing on the day-to-day that is going to hold you back or is holding you back. If you can figure that out, or if you already know like, oh yeah, I'm slacking on this, that, and the other thing, then take this as either some time to explore what adjustments you need to make in your day-to-day, or how you can use those habits for good. Like what is pushing you closer to where you want to go and what's pushing you away. And then we also have Nine of Swords. You're going to have fear around shaking things up. Let me tell you, resources can inspire some of the most fear-inducing anxiety imaginable. You know, thinking about, am I going to run out of money? Is the well going to dry up? Am I going to have to move? Am I going to be out of a place to live? This is primal needs down here, right? This is the base of what you need to function on a physiological level and be your healthiest self. And so these are things that are really going to get shaken up. Pay attention to wherever Uranus moved in your chart if you're into astrology, because that could be hitting like either your 4th house or even your 10th house, like how you, or your 2nd house. So anyway, that's a quick aside, just something to look at, because there's a lot of movement, but the Sun is really promising in this area. It's just about seeking it out. Okay, now this is relationships. So this is love, connection, family, intimacy, loving relationships. That is showing up right here. So let's see what's coming through. You have the 5 of Pentacles. I'm gonna clarify that. Give me just a moment. And then we have 2 of Cups. Okay. And I'm gonna pull the last one just to see what the full picture is. Ooh, the Lovers. Okay, so the connection isn't so much the issue. It's going to be the resources. It's going to be the movement down here that puts pressure on the relationships. So whether it be partnership, this can also be business partnership. Remember the 2 of Cups, it's about union. Like, who are you in union with in whatever capacity? So the 5 of Pentacles, I don't typically associate that card with poverty, but that's what this is kind of pointing to. If you're stepping into that scarcity mode, it's going to bleed into your relationships with partners, friends, family, the people that you're closest to, and that can make it rough. So I would view it more as like a bottom-up solution. If you can find a way to not trick yourself, but really realize that you have much more at your you can access a lot more than you probably realize. That's one of the things that people forget, is like that you're stuck, and that it is such a perception thing in a lot of ways, right? So some things, yeah, you can be stuck, but there's so much that you can do to mitigate the frustrations with that there's infinite solutions. There's infinite ways to do things. So just, if you can open up your mind a little bit when it comes to problem solving, it's going to make a world of difference for how you cope with this, the fear and the change and the adjustments. And in turn, you're going to get to, you know, enjoy more of the, you know, the lovers, the connection, the relationships that you've taken the time to build. Okay, I'm going to clarify the 5 of Pentacles. See what that's about. Okay, so you have the 4 of Rods. Yep, home, resources. It's all of this stuff going on at home. is where the scarcity mindset is impacting your relationships. Okay, so pay attention to, where do you have money, time coming in? Are you short on time? Are you short on, feeling like you're able to fill your own cup? All of that stuff you're going to start to examine. Look at the Hanged Man is telling you, hey, take a hard look at what's going on. Okay, moving on. So up here, we have confidence. This is more of your esteem, right? So this is, do you get respect from others? Like the relationships at work in terms of, like, are you seen as an equal? Is there respect going on? Is there mutual benefit? Do you feel like you can be authentic? And it's also the confidence in your desire to be an individual. We have the Eight of Swords, and then we also have the Devil. Okay, so I'm going to clarify the Eight of Swords, because that's kind of I don't know. It might be just a perception thing. Maybe you're feeling trapped. Let me get a little bit of clarity on that. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of the unpredictability that you're in right now is starting to impact your esteem. So if you don't feel stable and grounded and certain, it can cause some wavering up in your relationships professionally in terms of, am I seen as a peer? Am I being respected by those around me? Or even your sense of community, even though this is where the relationships are, this is the nuanced version of how you're interacting, how you're able to see yourself. And it's all stemming from this. It's all stemming from the root, the home, the resources. That's the big thing that's like, I don't know, it could go either way. The Wheel of Fortune is saying you want to leave space for the universe to show up. And that takes practice, right? It's not going to come overnight. It's not easy. But it is something that if you create space and just say, I don't know. That's what surrendering is being open to the I don't know and it turning out better than you thought possible. And I really want to drive that home because the Devil is more of the shadow self. The Devil is a reflection of you second guessing yourself. And this is the part of you that's going to say, you're being manipulated. You are, they're not telling you the whole truth. It's that mean little voice of being really hard on yourself. The unknown is actually going to save you in this case, right? By save you, that's a bit extreme, but you get what I'm saying. It's actually going to be your saving grace in terms of so much can happen that you're not seeing. If you just allow it in, if you just invite it in, it's going to provide a lot of relief. Okay? So don't worry about the Devil so much. It's just the negative self-talk, the shadow self that kind of wants to it wants to hold you back. It wants to keep you at the Nine of Swords and not moving forward. But that's not the case. It's just about mindset change and mitigating how extreme things feel. That's really all we can do when situations seem really sticky, is you just want to tap into how can you make it feel a little bit better as much as you can. Okay, and then this is your higher self. So this is, what Maslow calls the self-actualization. I'm going to read this as your higher self. Ten of Swords, huge revelation, huge revelation. And this is where your higher self is really being tested right now. And it's because of the surrender aspect. The letting go, allowing your belief systems to be challenged is going to give you such a massive transformation this month if you let it. You can stay scared. You don't have to take risks. You don't have to change yourself if you don't want to. I am giving you the blueprint for how you can make the most out of this month, but you have autonomy, you have free will, you get to decide whether or not that's something you're interested in. So the Ten of Swords is the ultimate release. It's kind of that, okay, Jesus take the wheel, kind of like, let go and let God, whatever expression works for you. That's really what's coming up with the Ten of Swords, especially when it comes to where you're going, what you're pursuing. Are you on the right path? All of those questions that I get. What I like to tell people when they ask, like, am I on the right path? Is I say, you're always on the right path, even if you take a detour, right? So there's an argument for every action that you take has meaning and has purpose, right? It's not a, am I or aren't I? There's so much gray area. And, you know, you're really at a tipping point of, you have so much love sitting in the center of your reading, so many wonderful relationships that are able to support you. It's about working with your own fears and struggles that is ultimately going to give you an additional edge this month. So I'll clarify the Ten of Swords. I don't like leaving anyone with that. We have, Nine of Swords. It's the fear, right? It is the fear. It's the ego, kind of wanting to get in there and, you know, making you second guess yourself, not wanting to move forward. Fear is not bad. I know that fear induces like a, you know, it's going to cause your nervous system to either get really activated or freeze or want to run. But ultimately, it's going to push you to change, because now things are going to be in a place where you actually have the opportunity where things are getting uncomfortable and you have the ability to change it for the better. So take it as an opportunity. Remember, it's, you know, it's not doom and gloom. You have a lot going for you. It's about making the internal shift, and the universe will shift in response. Your world will be perceived differently as a response of the work that you do. Okay, now I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we are going to go through the timeline. As usual, if you're new to my channel, I do first quarter of the month, second, third, and fourth quarter. So where you're going to be starting off June is Six of Vials. So this is the Six of Cups, soulmate connections. What I mean by that is the synchronicities that you can experience with other people. And this is such a nice card to see, because it's encouraging you to be open to the right people coming into your life. Whether or not you're looking for romantic partnership, that's more of an aside. That's totally up to you. Obviously, it could be a really good month to meet somebody because you have the Lovers and Two of Cups. But yeah, this is about the right people, especially when it comes to manifesting resources like a home or a job or money. Remember that manifestations come through people. So that's how they make their way to you. And it could be that in the beginning of the month, you are able to come in contact with a lot of people who can support this in some way or deliver a resource in some way, because that's how your manifestations come through. Okay, second quarter, we have the Hermit. Taking time to rest is going to be important when you feel it, right? So we have the Shark over here, and this is like the hustle card. That's kind of how I see the Shark. But the Hermit is just saying, hey, if you need a break, if you're burning out, you might need to take a chill pill and just relax so that you don't totally burn the candle at both ends and then just lose touch with what you're going after. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. It's going to give you the energy that you need to continue manifesting whatever it is that you want or need. Okay, third quarter, you have the 10 of Bells. This is the 10 of Swords. It's the same as up here. This is where the transformation really happens. This is where the big shift takes place. It really is that spiritual awakening. Oh God, I heard such a good quote, and it applies to this. Like, your deepest wound is where the light comes through. And that really is the truth. It's about you grow the most during the 10 of Swords, during the Tower, during the rupture, is when you're stitching things back together. That is where the point of evolution is in your higher self, in your physical body, in your emotional bodies. Okay, so again, this is where it's kind of like, okay, make sure you're resting and you're saving your strength because you're going through a lot, but it seems like the right people are coming in to support you. And then fourth quarter, this is where you're leaving off the month of June. Explorer of Vials. I believe this is the equivalent to the Knight of Cups, but this is ultimately you find a new version of your emotional self coming through. That is what the lesson is. This is going to better your relationships. And so the 10 of Swords is painful. You know, that I'm not going to like sugarcoat that, of course, but it's where you end up that really matters. And so this is going to give you the strength and wherewithal that you need to have long-lasting relationships, long-lasting friendships, and to cultivate the resources that you know you need. This is also deeper trust in self, deeper trust in source, and all of that good stuff. So don't take it for granted. It really is supporting you. Things are happening for you. I promise you that. I promise you that, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. Okay, this is the 3-card pick, as usual. And by the way, this is the Twin Peaks deck. So yes, there's weird imagery. I get so much crap for using this deck. But I love it. It's such a badass deck. So anyway, go ahead. You're welcome to pick a card before I flip them or after I flip them, whatever feels right for you. Go ahead and focus in on whatever is calling to you, or if you have a question, use this for whatever you want. Okay, so card number 1, we have the 3 of Cups. Celebration, connection, friendships. Friendships is where a lot of the resources are going to come in this month, and a lot of the new connections and the framework for what you're building is all going to come through the existing relationships that you have. So tap into that. Make sure you're really using your community for support at this time. And then card number 2, 10 of Swords again, right? So this is all about the release. Like that's again, the point of the most growth. So be gentle with yourself. That's kind of what the 10 of Swords is reminding you, is it's okay to take a break. It's okay to have a hard time. It's okay to, you know, step away from a situation. Allow yourself that, because it's going to give you time to heal whatever it is that you need healing. And, you know, as long as you're getting what I would call the earth stuff, right? Like the paying of the bills and taking care of all that. As long as you're keeping up with that, everything else is kind of going to fall into place. Okay, and then card number 3, we finally have the Hierophant. Set boundaries with yourself and with others. That is big for the Hierophant. So just make sure that you are taking advantage of, you know, being able to I wouldn't say like be strict, but this is speaking more to the Hanged Man, which is like, look at your habits, look at your structure, look at the things that you are doing on a regular and consistent basis, and make firm decisions about what you need to change or want to change to better yourself and take yourself to the next level. Okay, so that is all that I have for you in terms of the reading today. Thank you so much, Aries, for joining me. I absolutely appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell if you are looking to get notifications from me on when I do readings. And until next time, have a wonderful June. And if you're looking to work with me at all of that is in the description box. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.